Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the afternoon session of how to get your credit report. My name is Seppo, and I'm the one that's gonna be doing the webinar for you today. Um, Hope everyone is doing extremely well. Yeah, and I was learning something interesting yesterday. This morning we had obviously our session this morning. And starting next week, guys, we no longer doing anything on the personal page. I know some of you guys might miss the morning session, and everything is gonna be done here, and we'll kind of work around the times starting next week. Yeah, starting next week. So we're no longer doing anywhere. If anything, perhaps we will just stick to YouTube. I mean, not YouTube. Stick to Facebook. This page, and also perhaps on YouTube and on Zoom. And the reason being, I've just been attending. This week I'm in a session on learning more about ClickFunnels, and we just want to focus on that. We just want to focus on that and get the messaging across. Um, that's where our core focus is going to be. Okay. Welcome, guys. Just to get things in order, quick disclaimer: the information contained in this presentation and the resources available for download through Juprop Group website and its affiliated sites, inclusive of social media platform, is not intended as and shall not be understood or construed as financial advice. I'm not an accountant or a financial advisor, nor am I holding myself out to be, and the information contained herein is not a substitute for financial advice from a professional who's aware of the facts and circumstances of your individual situation. We have done our best to ensure that the information provided and shared, the resources available for download, are accurate and provide available information. Regardless of anything to the contrary, nothing available on or through this webinar should be understood as a recommendation that you should not consult with a financial professional to address your particular information. The company expressly recommends that you seek advice from a professional. Okay, let's go hide that. Yeah, okay. Um, just a quick one about Juprop. We are here to enable credit active consumers with credit education tools and insights to improve their credit score, empowering our clients with transitioning from tenants to homeowners by leveraging their credit. Um, and just quick facts there. In the country right now, in the country being South Africa, there's over 26 million credit active consumers. Um, and we've got about 9.88 million of those that have impaired records. And of that, just about 741,000 are pulling their free credit report, are pulling credit report. Let me, because that 741 is a combination, but majority of that, over 90% of that, is actually free report. Okay, over 95% in fact, and that's from the National Credit Regulator. Okay. Our session is going to take us roughly about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. I have found that in the afternoons, we normally manage to do it in 20 minutes or so forth. And the morning we just, yeah, we like to talk in the morning. So I think this morning session went 35 minutes or something like that. So yeah. So our session will be broken down into three: understanding credit, get your credit report, and the offer. We introduced this offer. This is our October offer, guys. When we launched with our package in September, they were extremely discounted. These are still discounted. These are still discounted campaigns, and yeah, just hold on. I'm online. I'll give you a shout. Okay, sorry about that. Just an urgent call coming through. Just an urgent call coming through. I had to take that. So yeah, I will say this is the most important slide. This is the most important slide. Meaning in this slide, the goal of anyone as a credit active consumer is to migrate from wherever you are to get to a point where you have an excellent score, a good score. That's where you want to find yourself on the right side of this slide. We're gonna be referencing this slide throughout this entire presentation. Okay. So the first thing to be clear, this is why we here. We can't talk about credit without really understanding what is it. So credit is the ability to borrow money or access goods or services with the understanding that you'll pay later. Okay, that's what credit is, guys. In simple terms, it's the ability to borrow from your future self, the ability to create money from your future self and bring it to the present. That's what it is. Okay. And Obviously, by virtue of this thing, what it means, if you are taking from the future, the more you take from the future, the more you weaken your present. However, if you take your present and you are making your payments, you can improve that towards this future that you're borrowing from. Okay, that's what credit is in simple terms. Okay. And at the core of credit, it's about trust. It's about trust. And because we're dealing with credit and credit, there are legislation. In the South African context, we've got the National Credit Act 34 of 2005. And we've got what you call the National Credit Regulator. Okay. And its intention and purposes are clear, spelled out in the page that you're seeing. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just to give you a summary, as you'll have the intention is to promote a fair and non-discriminatory marketplace for access to consumer credit, to prohibit certain unfair credit and credit marketing practices, to promote responsible credit granting and use for that purpose, prohibit reckless credit granting, to provide for debt reorganization in case of over indebtedness, to regulate credit information. Please feel free to screen grab and to establish the National Credit Regulator and the National Consumer Tribunal. Feel free to screen grab that page, guys. Who's the credit provider? Credit provider, in respect of this agreement to which this act applies, means the party who supplies goods or services under a discount transaction, incidental credit agreement, or installment agreement. The party advances money or credit under a pawn transaction. The party who extends credit under a credit facility. The mortgagee under a mortgage agreement. The lender under a secured loan. The lessor under the lease. The party to whom an assurance or promise is made under the credit guarantee. The party who advances money or credit under any other credit agreement, or any other person who acquires the rights of that credit under the credit agreement. This invariably refers to third parties. So I always say, when it comes to debt, debt is, that is sold, guys. Just always keep in mind, whatever is debt to you, to that person, that interest that you will be paying to settle that debt is an asset. Okay, so they've went I don't know if they went long or short on you. It all depends. So I would say they're going long. The moment people give you credit, they go long on you, and the moment you default and they see prospective defaulting, they might just go short. Okay, yeah, I think that's what it means. If you're in the financial services, particularly in the markets, let me know if I got it right, if I got that one right. What is in your credit report? What you would find in your credit report, what you are going to find in your credit report is a number of things. Okay. The first thing that you are going to find is your personal information. I always emphasize this. I say one of the most powerful things that you are going to find in your credit report is precisely that, your own personal information. Okay, you find your personal information, and it's important to update your personal information. I looked at this morning. I looked at one of my reports from one of the credit bureaus, and it had my addresses as far back. I don't even remember, as far back as Cape Town. Parkweg. I stayed in a number of places. Okay, and the reason being, also moving around, particularly when you're starting, you're going to be moving around a lot. Try to pick one address. If you're in a different city, preferably in your 20s, man, use your family home's address. Keep that consistent until you've got into a point where you are clear about some of these things. Reason being, you don't want to be moving around. These things, they impact on your score. So things that will be covered on your credit report will include things such as the number of credit card accounts you have, their borrowing limits, current outstanding balances, the amounts of any loans you've taken, and how much of them you've paid back, whether your monthly payments for your accounts were made on time, late, or missed altogether, more severe financial setbacks such as mortgage, foreclosures, car repossessions, and bankruptcies. Okay. um, uh, Notices, judgments will also be covered in the same. So we've got four types of credit. Obviously, there's more. There's things like developmental credit, but we're not talking about that in the context of this presentation. So you'll get revolving credit, you'll get service credit, installment credit, charge cards. What I always emphasize with this, particularly with these loyalty programs, guard yourself, because most of them have store account function linked into them. So guard yourself against what is it that you sign up for. Okay. How do you reach your credit report? There's a 3-digit number known as the credit score. So I referenced this earlier. Uh, and this is what creditors use to credit providers use to decide whether or not to issue you with credit. So the lower your score, if you have a very poor score, if you have a poor score, what that does, it limits your chances of approval. And if you are approved, you end up paying a premium. So it actually takes from you. Okay. So an excellent score and a good score, what that does is that you have a strengthened hand in terms of negotiation. Okay. Um, that was very fast. Let me see. Wow. Get your report. Okay. So I thought I was on the offer page already. Okay. Get your credit report. According to the NCR, less than 5%, okay, of South Africans make use of the legislation which entitles them to obtain their free credit report from the credit bureaus every year. There are 14 credit bureaus in the country, guys. So there you'll see I've got some of them, the contacts are there listed. Please screen grab the page. Make contact with Experian, make contact with TransUnion, make contact with XDS, VeryCredit, or CBB, which is Consumer Profile Bureau. Make contact with them, guys, and get hold of your credit report. Know exactly where are you standing, so that you can make the right decisions overall as it relates to your credit. Why is it important to know what's reflected on your credit report? When you know what's reflected on your credit report, you can easily apply for credit with confidence. It is also important that you know who's making inquiries on your profile. I can tell you, I know the banks that are making inquiries on my profile. So yeah, who knows? Maybe one of these days they're going to say, "Hey man, we seeing what we are seeing, and we would like to approve you." Okay. You Part of the reason why it's important as well is that you know exactly what is it that is impacting on your credit score, if there's anything that negative that's impacting on that. Last week I spoke about 553 fraudulent marriages that were reversed by Home Affairs, and these things, they happen. These things, they happen. If there is a fraudulent marriage that you've been entered into, you can end up inheriting a debt and being liable for that, and that has a dramatic and a serious consequence in terms of your credit score. Okay, 6 quick ways. We all say 6 quick ways to cover to improve your credit score. There's more than six. You see you see where strategically there was on the left. You remember what I said about that slide on the left? So if you're on the left, you have to pay all your outstanding fees, pay all your incoming bills, pay just to increase. Okay, guys, just kidding. Okay, 6 quick ways. Get your credit report. That's the first step. This is the most important. Report the errors and any inaccuracies on your credit profile. Pay your bills on time. Okay, reduce your credit ratio. Just because you qualify for 100K for so forth, the less of your available credit you use, the better it is for your credit score. Okay, pay off outstanding debts, settle and close accounts. Okay, about the offer, guys, we've got 3 offers currently. We've got the bronze offer, we've got the silver offer, and we've got the gold offer. We do have customized packages. Okay, these are corporate packages. We do have those as well. So what is it that you'll be getting overall? Okay, we do over 40 online sessions. Some of them are DIY, some include exercises that we do together. It's an interactive, these are interactive sessions. It's not like this one where I'm the one that is presenting and you guys are not feeding back except in comments later on, or if you are commenting now, because I can't see based on the screen that I'm looking at. Okay, so we will cover get to know your credit report, the premium version, where we look at what do these inquiries look like, what does a store account look like, what does a judgment. We cover a number of things. We also include things like what is a warrant of execution when it's on your. So these are the things, because once you feedback and you've pulled your credit report, it becomes easy for us to rather, when we put everyone in groups, to put them in groups based on the situation that they might be experiencing. Not just to put someone who's in terms of, we can put you in scores. I mean, that's one of the things as well. We can put you based on scores, but ideally is to put you based on the situation that you want. These are group classes, guys. If you want one-on-one sessions, those are completely different. Okay, that will be a completely different package altogether. We cover National Credit Act. We cover the types of credit. We would cover how to claim from unclaimed benefits and assets. These are some of the things that are within the financial services industry. How to claim your credit insurance. We look at consumer rights. We look at things like insurance replacements. What does that mean? I was listening just this morning, I listened to, I think it's Mark Barnes, and he was talking about the footprint of the post office and the plans that he had. And these are the things that I'm telling you about, insurance replacements, and this is precisely what he was talking about. So we have self-tools, formulas, exercises, and discounts on affiliated partners and products. We bring on expert guests, and that's it. So if you've managed to make it up to here, guys, congratulations, well done. We definitely are looking forward to working with you, and those are our contacts. Make contact, follow us on social media page. We've got there's a full change that we've just done now, and it's called 1 million credit. Okay, so the migrations by next week, you possibly have to go to 1 million credit. Okay, 1 million credit, not 1 million credit report. I think for length, we'll see. I'll just verify that. So it's 1 million credit, and it will be a .com. So Juprop will just use for corporate stuff. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys very much, and have a blessed afternoon. Have a great afternoon. I think we made it in less than 20 minutes. That was the fastest. Okay, thank you very much.